All right. I think we are live. Let's go ahead and cue a transition. All right. I think we're in. Dun dun dun. All right. I think we are live. All right. I think I've disabled the double talking. Send out the Discord invite. I think we're in. All right. Let's see. What are we doing today? Well, I guess let me know where you are joining from. And also that the audio looks good. Looks good. Sounds good. All right. Oh, yeah. So today, I am working on expanding out I have it called the Massive Free Preview on my side, but the Tome of Endless Wonders. If you're wondering what that is, you can find it on the website. Let's see, let me just pull up a link for it. Right here, and I have a free coupon for this running right now. So if you actually add this to your cart, it will show up as free. Let's just do that. Ba-bam! Look at that. Beautiful, huh? All right, and then, anyways, we'll have to expand this too. I should add that to my to-do list once there's more stuff in here. So, let's see. I need 2 more pages. Let's add those here. I think, let's see, we're wrapped up with body modifications. Actually, where do we want to stick the creatures? I guess maybe in like the back half of the book. That's fairly standard. So we're going to insert a couple pages here. Let's do, actually we're going to need way more than 2. Let's do, what are we at? If we could do 40 pages, that'd be pretty awesome, right? Does that push us right up to... Oh, crap, I didn't select that. No, let's undo that. That would push up right up to 150 pages. Unless I'm gonna pull those over. Let's just do 2 for now, and then I'm gonna put a header in here, and I think I'll actually move the pages from wherever they exist and then modify. That's probably easier. Did I not do... That is a chapter. Oh, that's because these are not a chapter. Those are a section. All right, so let's grab this. Pull out the magic items. Then we can drop that on our new creatures section, change it, add it to the table of contents, and boom, we'll have it done. All right, creatures. This needs to be done. We'll leave it here for now, but we can make sure that is a table of contents block. So I have this set up where some of these styles are, you have the table of contents version and the non-table of contents version. And what that lets me do is that allows me to decide what I want in the table of contents while maintaining that style. Because otherwise I would have to keep pulling stuff out. Ooh, why does that look so funky? Was that me? Did I do that? Welcome to the vault. Why did that happen? Oh, did this get changed? Ah, that did get changed. Okay, perfect example. This used to be Welcome to the Vault, and I changed it to Welcome to the Tome of Endless Wonders, but now that's too long, and I don't know that I want it in there. Because then it looks funky. I guess we could change it just to Welcome. The reason I'm thinking about leaving it is to quickly use it for navigation so you can get back to the very beginning. So if you have this open in Adobe Acrobat or something, they have the ribbon with like the table of contents, and this will help you traverse that. So that's the thought. Let's It's only a page off. I'm just going to leave it, so we'll take it out of the table of contents. That also will help with the layout because we are going to have a bunch of creatures we need to fit in here, so we'll have to figure out how we want to structure those. So I'm not sure yet. We got a few things we want to take out here. So we want to make this a just standard heading 1, and then what you'll get, and that's also a standard heading 1. Okay, so that should look a lot better in a second. Update table of contents. There we go. Okay, and then that did pull in our creatures. So now they're here. We can quick jump to them. Perfect. All right, so I want to. I think I'm actually going to start in the Scion book. Let's jump down to the creatures here. So we've got a bunch of options we can figure out what to pull. Obviously, the easiest things to pull are ones where they're self-contained. So Chrono Sentinel is not great because the stat block's actually on the next page because there's so many details. Chimera is also problematic because they have all the different versions of them. So I don't know if I want to grab one and leave all the rest out, because that'd be kind of crappy. Also, don't worry about the image quality in these previews. The way that these things display, Adobe is saying, sure, you want the typical display, but if you change to high quality, it sometimes takes a while, but that will come in nice and nice and nice. Oh, welcome, Marcel. You're not too far, actually. I'm near Seattle. All right, let's see, where were we? Yeah, jumping back to this. Done. Oh, welcome, Marcel. All right. Oh, might have just duplicated sound for a second. Sorry about that. Unpaused it. Let's see. I think maybe some of the NPCs are actually pretty solid take. We could just grab this full section. So this would give us, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe that's what we should do. And then that gives us a nice set of creatures from, I think we start CR half, right? No, quarter even. So we got a quarter, a half, a 1, a 3, a 5, a 7, a 9, and an 11. That's a really nice selection. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to want to move all those pages. Let's grab these 4. We're going to move these over to different document. Let's go with our massive free preview, and we want to stick this after page. Let's see. I think we inserted those pages somewhere around here. We'll shift it if it's not correct. Yeah, let's just leave it there for now. Okay. We'll take a look. All right, so we have, oh, wrong document. There we go. All right, perfect. Yeah, so this is what we want. I'm gonna have to blend this creatures in with the NPC section here. Thanks, Marcel. I am glad you are stoked on this stuff. We're making great strides. Community inspiration gets us there every time. All right, let's see. We've got the NPCs pulled over. Let's see if there's anything else we want to grab out of here. I think what I'm gonna do is grab all the creatures, and then I'll start figuring out how to weave them together, because we may not start with that PC or that NPC section. We could. I don't know if we want to. We could include something like one of these page spreads or one of the dudes in there for artwork for those. You know, maybe actually I should include this one. This is a pretty excellent one. Am I gonna want to change the size? Probably not. So if I want to change it, I want to grab a new copy of it, because otherwise I will be duplicating that image, and then any changes I make to it will obviously reflect not only where I built it the first time and the second time, and in the master. Let's see. I want to move. Let's do it again. Let's go to massive free NPCs. Okay, there we go. All right, and then over here. Okay, that looks not quite what I'm looking for, but we'll just insert one more page after this. After, yes, there we go. Okay, so we might actually lead with that and then dive right into the creatures. We'll have to play with that. It's hard starting with a full page spread, but I don't know that I want to cut any of that out. So that's where we are. All right. Okay, back to Legends of the Sign. Oh, now it's clean. The crispness has come through. All right. Let's see. Diving down. So we went through there. Do we want to grab any of the legends? Don't know. Maybe not to start. These ones are, well, at least those first couple were nicely self-contained within a spread, so that's nice. All right. I think I'm going to call it there, because we already grabbed, what did we end up deciding on? That was like 6 creatures? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 creatures. All right, that's pretty good from the first one. So we'll leave that there. Let's go ahead and close this. All right, now let's jump over to the summoner NPCs. All right, start from the top. You know, I did like this one, the Corpse Juggernaut. I think this was a fun style. We're gonna have to fix these though. Are these all heading ones? Yeah, I guess because these were all individual creatures with some pieces underneath. Yeah, okay, so I like this one. I really enjoyed the building out this creature where it starts out tiny and weak, and then as other creatures die, which it has a surprising number of hit points. So even though armor class super low, easy to hit, this thing won't go down that quickly unless you figure out some of those damage vulnerabilities, but which honestly likely will with that piercing and slashing. But anyways, as this thing gets bigger and bigger from consuming these corpses, it becomes more and more of a threat, and at the same time is becoming more visibly aggressive. So it's just fun stuff. All right, let's move this over. So we'll put it back over here, and we'll go after page, just in this vicinity again. Let's see. So we actually want it after an odd to keep this together. So we'll put it here. All right, so we've taken that one. Do we want to bring over either of these? Probably not. I did like the Huntsman. Well, I should rephrase. I liked all of these. These were all really fun to make. I think what I'm looking at is what can I have standalone dropping into the free preview where you don't need a bunch of the other details in here, so it's easier to grab and go rather than having the relearn the lore from the summoner with what the enhancement piece means. So trying to walk that line of extremely easy to pick up and use in your game with, if you're interested, more additional content found in the full products. So I think we'll grab the Huntsman. I like this concept. Part of it too is that this is a really easy to use creature for an NPC or a villain. So if you wanted them to play either role, that's also a nice addition since it makes it. Oh, sorry. I want to insert. I want to move. All right, move it after this one. Move the other one. What do we do? 111, so let's do the same. Okay. Let's just go double check. We're not massively destroying this thing. Okay, so we got that one in, that one in. All right, looks perfect. We can keep doing 111, and then we can shift these things around as we figure out what the actual final layout's going to be there. All right, done. Okay, mental formulations. I think I'm going to skip these ones just because this is heavily in the summoner sort of realm, with building out a few of these. So I think this is great for people playing that, but maybe not so great for people just trying to get a taste for what the content is in here. Primordial Golem's pretty high level. Do we want one? Maybe. We have, you know, I probably need to keep track of what we've got. So we'll do CRs here. Alright, so we've got CR. Oh, that didn't copy. And then I guess we could just do, we could say what it is and we'll do a count. And that way, make sure we got a nice spread. So, starting at the top, zoom in a little bit. We've got CR5, okay. So we got, I don't know if we have anything. I don't know, let's do a date. Let's not do that. Well, see, I think we do like the escape character, right? Yeah, all right, that'll work. I don't need to do any math with that. Oh. Excel, you're so smart, only when you're not. All right, then we'll have a half, and then it goes to 1. Okay. I don't think I need 0 creatures. I don't think I'm gonna add them either. You don't really need a stat block if you're doing that. All right, that should be enough to build it out. Let's count that all the way up to, I don't actually know, 25. I think Caesar the Decayer is 25. I don't know if we want to go that high, but all right. So we have 1 CR5, got it, and then we've got 1 CR8, and then we have. Welcome, Isaac, and I'm glad to hear the audio is great. How is Oklahoma these days? Okay, let's see. We've got a quarter. We've got CR1 half, and a 1, and a 1, and a 2, and a, let's see, 3. Okay, so we have 2 5s. I feel like 5s are pretty good bosses for like tier 1 stuff. Dangerous, still doable. All right, 9 and 11. Okay, so we could grab, what's it called if we wanted, that Primordial Golem. It's not all on one page though, so that does present some problems. I did like these guys. The Bone Callers were fun. Maybe we should move over the Bone Caller and the Protector. Yeah, finals was always high stress. So you always run into that balance of how much am I going to study for any particular class, because obviously you're constrained. Let's see. I don't know, maybe we should grab all the skeletons. You can never have enough skeletons, right? I'll have to rework this section, but that's okay. All right, let's do that. So if we grabbed all of these skeletons, let's try again. All right, move those, and we'll stick that after. We did 111, I think is what we were sticking with. So let's stick with it. Yeah, never enough skeletons. I did build a skeletal swarm. I wonder if that's worth moving over. I didn't, if we're gonna have some skeletons in here. I think it is, right? Like, we should get some more books, more content. I think it's this one. Because this is actually part of the spell. Level 9. Swarm of skeletons, here you are. Yeah, because we could just move this stat. Ah, it's another CR5. Alright, well, evidently we're going to have a party then. I think that's fine, though. We'll move over the swarm. I don't have a great picture for that just because of where this fell, but that's the right call. Giving you all some skeletons. Alright, let's move I'm gonna move the double page so it doesn't break our spreads we've been doing. All right, let's move that. This is this document, page 111. Perfect. All right, and then that was another CR5. So we actually have 3 of those now. And then, what was the other one we just moved over? So the skeletons. So the Skulker is a CR1, so we got 2 of those. The Bone Collar was a CR3, so we have 2 of those. Protector, CR4, first one of those. All right. Recording these off to the side over here, but I will share. This is what we're sitting at so far. Definitely a little heavy on the 5s. No 6s, no 2s, no quarters, or no 8s. Hello, Hepta. Welcome. All right. Let's see. We did those. Oh, sorry. Wrong document. Jump back over. All right. Pulled all the skeletons because we all concurred you can never have too many. We have the Apprentice Summoner. I think that one's okay. Ah, thank you. I appreciate it. All the likes. The more the merrier. All right. We had the Adept. This one might be worth pulling over. Although, actually, now that I think about it, this summons a mental formulation, so maybe we don't want to grab this. Or it's a CR2. I think the Archon is a fun one. They have... yeah, I think I have them fully set up just to use all of their... sort of more primordial abilities, summoning the tentacles, the Titan Fist. Yeah, let's do that. This will be a good one. It's easily standalone, gives you a good sense of the flavor, and just a fun NPC or villain to throw at the players. All right, so let's move this. We'll put this after. How do you like your TV? They always do seem to have pretty solid deals. Costco feels like the benchmark for what the price should be. It's amazing how cheap those are. I was actually just watching something that was talking about in the 70s, TV was $500 for like a 21-inch TV, and now $500 to get you like a, I don't know, probably actually bigger than a 40-inch. Maybe closer to like 60. Alright, did we pull over? There we go. And oh man, we have a plethora of CR5. I might need to rebalance one of these just for this thing, just so we don't have a horde of them. Alright, the Convergent Summoner. Do we want that? They have to roll on the table. It's probably a little more complicated than we want right now. What are they doing? Summoning, mental formulations, Horrifier. I don't know, there's some good options here. Yeah, the Shadow takes up a bit of space. Evolutionist is kind of fun. Colossus. Caesar's probably too big. Oh, I did make a Spirit. That one could be solid. You know, I haven't looked into doing anything on Twitch. Part of it is I never use the platform, so I don't have a ton of familiarity there. But certainly something I could look into. You know, I wonder if you could live stream on both at the same time. They probably don't like that, so maybe not, but it would be efficient. Who knows? All right, do we want to bring the Summoner or the Spirit over? I think so. I think this is a fun support style character, and it's a CR7. We only have one of those. All right, so this will give us 2, and let's move that. And I think this is, oops, why not working? Why isn't that working? There we go. All right. This gives us everything from here, so Alright. Yeah, alright. So that's everything. So now we could do, what's this? Cold Forge Gauntlet. Let's do this one. There's actually a crap load of creatures at this point that I've built. I think, remember I counted it once before. Actually, you know, we could pull it up on Creed's Codex. That'll give us the count. Let's see. Well, let me get that to load for a second. It's going to do a full count of everything on there. Might take a hot second. Okay, let's see. What do we want to do? I wonder if I could fit this guy in there. Because the nice thing about this was he is actually a legendary CR1 half. Which, so you could fight him by himself or with like a couple henchmen and have like a decent fight at low levels. But still relatively easy to take down. Oh, thing finally loaded. So we have built 100, well, that might not even be accurate. There's 140 monsters we built that are in the paid subscription, but we might have even built more than that if some of them are free right now. A lot of creatures. All right, let's see. Do we want to bring him over? He won't fit on one page unless we change up how this background's working because he has some stuff over here. Not much though. So we might be able to shrink some of this. I think it's worth taking him. What do you think? Worth taking him? We could probably pull the decoy fighter in as well. This guy was fun too. Maybe I should bring Zev as well. Another legendary creature, but CR4. So give us some options. I think let's grab them all. So we'll go through the end of Zev stuff, which was here. Okay. Oh. Yeah, we'll just have to rework how that's showing up so that it all fits. Alright, 111. Move all that. Alright, and then before we forget, let's capture what we grabbed. Need to build a table at the end with all these things in it so it's easy to see what we have. But this. Alright, so we got CR4. Alright. And then we have a CR3. Okay. Definitely having a little bit of a higher number in the 3 to 6 range. I guess, yeah, 3 to 6 range at present. Who is this guy? CR2, first CR2, excellent. And then we have CR half, so we got 2 of those. That's pretty good. All right, we have the Thunder Monk. Which one is this one? Oh yeah, I converted Shockwave into an ability. Yeah, that was fun. Do we want to pull it over? Maybe. Well, let's see. We could grab. I think the Grove Keeper. We already have the Monstrous Transformation version of that in there, so maybe I'll keep that one out. The Onslaught Ranger. CR13. Feel kind of mixed. Fire Rider is a fun concept for this. Could be a good NPC. If we wanted to pull that. The Elemental Caller, same thing. Could also be another good NPC. I think I actually have this spell in here, so that probably makes it worth taking. Let's see. Glyph of Eruption, I do. Yeah, so let's... Oh, where did it go? There we go. should grab this one. Alright, so actually we can move both of these, and I think I have a better illustration to use now that I'm thinking about it. So we'll do both right now. So we'll move these both to... Alright, that's all of those. And then, actually, do I still have the summoner? Oh, I do. Alright, we want to grab... where is it? I think it's the end of this one. I think she would make an excellent fire caller. So actually better than the original. Okay, so we'll... creatures. Okay. Needs to be fixed, but we'll stick this here for now. Okay. And then, let's see. Let's go back to here. River Runner was also... I mean, honestly, they're all super fun. Arcane Warrior. I'm gonna pull them over. Let's see, what are we missing? Do we have a CR6 in here? A CR6! Excellent. And this Druid is badass too, so what could be better? Alright, let's move that. So that'll be... I feel like they got offset slightly. I'm not sure why. Alright, so move that over. Okay, so that's the Druid. And then Cleric Earth of Protection. Oh, I think I forgot to update as long as we were at it. The Elemental Caller is a 1. And then, oh, that didn't update. There we go. And then this was also a 1/2. Okay. The Seer. You know, I learned something after making this particular one. So the Seer was all around being extremely defensive and being really hard to hit. And they had some spell casting that they could do. A lot of it was divination or just escaping from whatever it was, like with Dimension Door. Or getting like animals to attack for them or something like that. But even if you look at like a Lich or something like that, they all have a melee attack. And a lot of them, I think like the Archmage is something like a dagger that does, I don't know, 1d4 plus 3 or something like that. And you might wonder, like, why would they have this? Like, this seems just like a terrible plan, since it's going to do so little. Like, why would they ever use this? And it's to be able to trigger opportunity attacks, and some of the creatures require some kind of ability where, like, they're threatened by another creature there. So if the creature has no way to attack them, then they may not qualify. So, anyways, Wizards of the Coast designer told me about that. I thought it was interesting. Something I hadn't really thought about before. Let's see. The Power Bard was super fun. Thinking of this as like the rock star in the middle of the encounter, just playing away. I think we could pull this. Let's pull that. Okay. And this is I think it's a CR13. I'll have to double check. Oh, CR11. Okay. Probably gonna want, well, I guess we could group all the skeletons together. Might make sense to look at the end, because we could either do it by CR, so as you're going through you can find that, or we could do it by like creature type or something. It really depends on what you're looking for. I think CR is probably most helpful for most people, but if you think otherwise, just let me know in the comments on this video. I can rank it by whatever. We have the power. All right. Let's see what else we have in here. We have Lux. CR 15 with her Thorn Horrors. Oh yeah, we have all the Shadow Followers together. I was thinking, can't remember. Did I make the mock-up in this one? I did. I do like the addition of pulling this one in here. I think this is strong. So we could bring all of the shadow followers potentially. It's probably going to be one of those where we bring a bunch of stuff over and then I clean it up as we go if we need to shrink it. Shadow Wraith. Maybe I'll just bring the Shadow Striker and Shadow of Vengeance and bring those over. Because those pair nicely together and they give you kind of what we're looking for. And that does give us CR2, we only have one of those. CR8, we only have one of those. Let's see. The Shadow Sorcerers is a 7. Shadow Hunter is a 4. Although the Hunter is a cool concept too. Can kind of keep up with you with that Hunter's step reaction. It's like you can't escape. Anyone have any thoughts? Preferences? Let's see, so this is a big partial. So if we grabbed those ones. I guess I'm leaning towards just taking the Striker and Vengeance at the moment. Let's do that. Alright, here we go. Let's move this over. Alright, 111. This thing's starting to get long. Now, what are we up to? 157 pages. Alright. And I think we're just about done. That is the end of this one. Alright, so Cold Forge Gauntlet. Honestly, this one, I don't know if you have heard how I came up with this concept, but it's something I had built internally to do a bunch of play testing when I needed to balance stuff, and I wanted something that I could keep changing it relatively easily. So I came up with this idea for this like ongoing sort of arena that you could do. And what's really cool about this thing is that there's just so many options without actually having to make any changes. So let's see, if we did, I think there is, where did I put that? All right, so I made 3 types of challenges. We have the Immortal, the Tempest, and the Marauder. And so, let's see, so let's do some quick math here. So you have 3 options that you could do. And then, let's say a 4-level party. So on a 4-level party, have 4 creatures. Alright, so you've got 6 options for each spot. Right. Yeah, so I did 6 different ones. So that'd be times 6, times 6, times 6. So that's 648 different creature options for that combat. And then, for the 3 types of challenges. And then we have the 6 maps. So that's 3,888 combinations just for those. Yeah. Solid stuff. All right, back to it. Let's see. So we're just looking for creatures here. So we can pull over the wolves. Those don't quite all fit within 1 page. But we could also merge. Actually, you know what we should probably do? We should probably drop the dire wolf, since that base is obviously available outside of here. And then we can just pull through the rest. I think that's the way to do it. So, so that we don't mess up our pages, let's grab all 4 of these, and then I'll delete that one out. Let's see. So 111. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna order these, because these obviously should stay together as well. Because we could do like the creature blocks, I suppose. I don't know, and then we're gonna have a bunch of random ones. It's always tough. What's the easiest way for people to consume this information? That's what we're shooting for. Best user experience possible. The Rapscallions were a bunch of rogues. I did like their structure. The battle mages were fun. If we do those, we'll need to bring over a bunch of different spells as well. It's probably out of scope just for constraints we've got. So maybe we'll skip those. Vampire familiars were a fun concept. Let's see that. That's 3 pages for those. And we've got the golem. I really like the golems. Actually, one of the best ideas was this one thrown out in one of the surveys for this teleportation circle golem, where it's actually like a mobile teleportation circle that like you could bring it wherever, and then if someone wants to, they could teleport to that thing. Like the strategic concept with this is enormous. Just being able to move your teleportation circle wherever you wanted. Like throwing this against the players could be amazing, with being able to like start funneling things through the creature, who's also, this one's a little squishier because he's a CR4. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, his armor class is a little higher, so 16. He does have a lot of damage resistances and a few immunities, rather than like 9 and 139. So he is quite a bit squishier. But oh yeah, but he's really hard to pin down, because when he takes damage, he can teleport 30 feet, and he can take 1 reaction on every turn in combat, so he could get out of there pretty easily. Plus, offensively, he could also use those to attack. Like, this guy's not meant to attack, though. Primarily used as a means of bringing in more troops, and then, like, keeping himself safe by teleporting around. Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. We should take it. I'll need to shorten this just slightly if I want to be able to fit the future adventures in. I could leave out the stone golem. Again, same thing with like the wolves. This one is already available, so we could bring, I think the golems would be good. So let's do that. So let's bring, do we want the Crusaders? I think so. The Crusaders are also a nice mix. Oops. No. Alright, let's move those over. So we've got, so let's bring the golems. So we'll have brought over the wolves, the golems, and the Crusaders potentially. That sounds good. And then I think everything else are maps in here, so we'll leave these for now at least. Yeah. What do we have? Oh yeah, we got the spells. That's right. And a handful of magic items. Okay. So that was that. Last one we have is Prison Break, I think. Let's see, because we grabbed the creature, or the skeleton swarm, out of the Summoner book. We grabbed the Scion NPCs and a handful of other things out of the Scion book. Then we grabbed a bunch of stuff out of the Summoner book, including more skeletons. It's someone said you can never have enough skeletons. Isaac and I are in agreement. And then we grabbed a bunch of stuff out of the Marshall And then we grabbed some stuff out of Cold Forge Gauntlet. So now here we are. Alright. Oh, but you know what we didn't do? We didn't update our counts. I failed you all. Oh. These pages didn't copy over either. Why not? What's going on here? Well, I guess good thing I checked now. What's our issue? Huh. It's like I just didn't bring the stat blocks. I wonder what that is. Weird. Okay. Let's see. So we failed to bring over... Looks like all of them after the Shadow Striker. So I guess conveniently these are all from the same book. I wonder if it's an issue with that book. Let's hope not. Alright, so let's delete all those pages that didn't actually transfer. And we will try again. Alright, delete spreads. Alright, and then... Oh, I missed one? Yeah. Alright, delete the spread. Okay, Shadow Striker. Alright, back to Cold Forge Gauntlet. We'll do one at a time. Double check, make sure everything worked correctly. So we want to bring... I don't know why these pages didn't transfer. Okay. Try again. So we'll move these pages after page 111. Okay. Let's double check that was successful. Alright, what the heck? It's not successful. What's going on? Alright, can we copy and paste everything instead? Can we do it that way? Alright, not my preferred method, but gotta get everything lined up, which is never fun. I didn't quite get it. Why is it doing that? Done. Okay. Well, I guess we'll do it this way. Alright, so we just need these two. I don't know why that's breaking. Adobe, you have some work to do. Stop messing around with building this like AI crap that no one wants. Except for all these companies that think they can save a bunch of money by getting rid of like real artists. Like that's not the dream. Who wants to get rid of art so they can do more email? Like, honestly. Alright. That brute force method was, I guess, successful. Alright, so we're skipping the vampires. Those are really fun, but I think the golems from like this one in particular, the teleportation one. Actually, you know, the charge golem was fun too. But yeah, those provide a lot of value to the DM. And that's what we're about, right? Providing value. Okay, let's we want to insert, I guess we want 4 pages. We'll do the first 2 up here. All right. So our golem started off. Now we need to go grab these ones. know, actually, crap, did I mess that up? Where is the Shadow Striker's text? Is it up here? Yeah, okay, well, I did mess it up, but it is not lost. Let's just okay, cool. All right, and then let's put this stuff back on before we get sidetracked and lost. Got it. All right, we need 2 more pages. Actually, was that? No, that wasn't the last one. We have 1 more set to do. If you're wondering what all these crazy lines are, this text flows. What that means is it's all connected. So for instance, if I drop an image in here and this gets shortened, it all bleeds over and pushes out this other one. So actually this is probably a better example. I have these broken up so the Crusaders are all part of the same one, but the Golems were not. So this will push all of these ones. Oops, or I just delete it, you know, that'll do it too. All right, so we want this page as well. So let's grab that. All right. Done. All right. That was everything that we had decided we were going to potentially use from Coldforge Gauntlet. So the last one was Prison Break. So let's go take a look at that. So we've got the guards, Captain, the Warden, Jim the Shadow Follower, so another spellcaster, more of a dabbling in the shadows, trying to stay away from being attacked. Alright, Baron was picking up one of the feats from the Summoner, where as a reaction he can either mitigate damage or enhance damage. So whether you want to playing him more defensively or offensively. And then let's see. And what did Kevin do? Remind me of what he was doing. Elemental Scrapper. Oh yeah, he was grappling. I don't think there's a ton of grappler NPCs. Man, another CR5, huh? We got a surplus of those. We'll have 5 of them. And a 9 with 2 of those. This was 1, 5, 9. This was 2, 6, and 10. We don't actually have a CR10. And this was 5, 9, and 13. I had these set up so that they would scale depending on the kind of encounter you were doing. So for example, we can do, if you had 4 level 3 players, then you had a 1 skeletal brute, 5 skeletal dashers, Jim the Shadow Follower, which that would have been the lowest level one, so CR5, and then a couple of other things, the Arcane Recruit, Elemental Scrapper, etc., and then just Prison Guards. But if you want to play at the top, all of a sudden these all become Prison Wardens, so they're much tankier. And Jim's the Shadow Leader, etc. So these are all designed to scale. So if you wanted to do something in between, you could always mix and match then. So maybe instead of 7 guards, you've got 2 guards, 2 captains, and 2 wardens, or whatever it might be. Something to give you what you needed there. All right. Let's see. Let's zoom back out here. What else do we want to pull? Well, I guess maybe I'll finish going through here and then decide on these ones. So we've got the skeletal brutes, which are just big, tanky. Actually, these are, well, they have a lot of hit points. These would be, actually brute, was that what they called it? In 4th edition had that like breakdown of all of the different creature types. And they had the ones with like high hit points, but not that hard to hit, but also did a crap load of damage. I feel like that might have been a brute. Yeah, because these guys on a hit dealing 27 damage is like enormous. Plus 8 to hit, so, but they're also vulnerable to bludgeoning. You know, think since we grabbed the skeletons, maybe this is going to be a skeleton book. We should pull these through. We could also, actually, that might be it for creatures. So if that's the case, all right, who do we want to grab? I don't know, kind of lean towards the grappler. This one. Oh yeah, I remember building this guy. He was, I was playing this character that was a warlock, well, I guess a barbarian warlock technically. He had 1 level in barbarian, so he could rage, and then the rest in warlock, and so he would drop Armor of Agathis as his action, bonus action rage, and then movement, just run around provoking opportunity attacks, and on his subsequent turns he could grapple creatures, and then when they were trying to hit him they would be taking damage from Armor of Agathis, or he would just be attacking them. It was a super fun character. Alright, I think we want to do this one. I think we're going to do Kevin. we don't need all of the context here for how he's involved in this adventure, since we're not bringing the full adventure, just part of it. So, or just the character from here. So we could probably just grab these 3. So also, it's getting enormous. I don't want this file to be so big I never finish it. Let's grab. Where are you? There we go. And we're about at time too, so this is about perfect. We'll bring this guy over. Probably find a better one for Kevin. Elemental grappler of sorts. All right. Before I forget, so this is a 1, so that gives us 4 of those. Yeah, we do have a lot of these particular ones. But that does give us CR 1/4 up through CR 11. We could look to grab a couple higher if we wanted. Actually, I didn't finish. We still have Project Cerberus. We're gonna bring some of these ones over. How could I forget? All right, this one's a little funky because it's offset. I think I'm gonna leave the artifacts in here. They're pretty closely tied to the story. We could bring the infiltrators if we wanted. I don't have the artwork done for that one yet. It's still in progress, but I suppose I could just leave a spot for it. Let's see, because the infiltrators, they're an interesting, this would be like a Captain America sort of commoner, where they just have a +1 across the board, proficiency in all saving throws, proficiency in a whole bunch of skills, and then it's like solid, a regeneration of sorts. Very slow, but this would be like an out of combat thing where they like run away so that they can heal up and then come back before the players can heal up. Let's see, so we could take those. I don't know if we want to take the conversions aberrations. Those are probably pretty tight in here, but I do think we might want to take, did we take this magic item? We might have. It's one of my favorites. Let's go take a look. So if we took that, then we should definitely bring them over. We did. All right, so if we brought that, we should bring over what those make so that you can actually make them. So that means that we need to grab everything from this page. Oh, you know, I need to double check and make sure that actually brought the stat blocks over. Get that weird issue. Yeah, all right, Kevin's in here. Oh, you know, it didn't bring over his token, oddly enough. I don't know what's up with that, but... Alright. Let's see. So... we'll grab the rest of these. So we decided we need this page. So Scroll this down so I can see them all. And that goes all the way. I guess we do want this last one because that has some plot hooks and stuff in there. Alright, so that's all of that. We'll move that over. 111, that's good. Alright. And so, let's update our sheet here. So that gave us another CR9. Okay, and then a CR7. Evidently we're getting a lot of the odd numbers here. Divination, this is a CR4. Alright, well, stand corrected. Divination 1/2. There's 4 of those. And then the witness, we have another quarter. Okay. Alright, so we'll bring those, what was that? No, I didn't miss any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so 5 from here. That's pretty good. I'll have to see what that, actually we did some, what's our final count looking like? So that would be 32 creatures. That's solid. Okay. Because I think I had promised that I would do at least 15. So this would be more than double that promise. And what's better than a bunch of free stuff you weren't anticipating? Even more free stuff. So I think that's pretty good. So we'll have to figure out our arrangement here. So I think we're gonna have to group them so that it makes sense. So we can have like Divination Sentinels as one block of these things. We can do the wolves as a block. We can do the golems as a block. We can do skeletons as a block. I was trying to think of what else we had in here. And then we're gonna have a handful of like one-off things that I don't think really fit with much else, but should be good. What's this blank page? Where are you? Not sure. Looks like we might just have an extra page. Okay. Yeah. And that puts us at 176 pages. That's pretty good. And then once I start working on the next book, pull some of that stuff in here. It's going to be gargantuan. This will probably shrink by, I don't know, I would guess 3 pages maybe, if we take out some of the redundant things and get some of the stuff to fit together more nicely. Actually, it might shrink by 5. We had a couple of those where we didn't want one of those pages, or something like this where we might condense all of that to fit. All right, well, I think this is a pretty awesome selection to start. So now I just have to go through and clean all this up for all of you. I will post a link. Actually, let me just grab it right now. I can drop it. Actually, chat. I don't know if the chat disappears when this thing ends, but what I'll do is I'll post a comment on the video and pin that to the top, linking to this free PDF. And that way, if you did download it, it'll be in your library. And then whenever it updates, you will also get updates to that. I can just show that real quick what that looks like. So let me pull up my library here. It's Vision Creative. Okay, so I think I'm logged in. All right, let's pull the screen over. All right, so I'm on the home page. If you want to download this, you can just click the download free PDF or the vault here. But if you're logged in, you go to my library. If you're not logged in, you click this button. It'll prompt you to log in, and then you can log in, and then you can get all of your PDF versions here. So once you've downloaded it, you just jump down. Why don't I see it? Oh, there's so many. There's 2 pages now. Here we go. Ah, it's just one on this page. Perfect. So if I go here, you can download this, and then that will give me the latest version of this. So you can see we're on version 11 already as I keep adding more stuff. So actually, no, I could do that. I might launch version 12 with some of the creatures done, and then version 13 when I finish the rest of them, something like that, so you're not all waiting. But I think that's it. So any last questions for me before I bounce? And wish you all adieu. I've got the chat up right now, so just let me know. And then I will go through and figure out how I want to Tetris all of this stuff together and get it ready for you all. I think it'll be good stuff. Good stuff. Alrighty here. Well, I'm seeing no questions, so I think this is a pretty good spot to wrap. Let's go ahead and save this before we lose all our work we just did. We got to clean up a bunch of stuff to get all these creatures to nicely fit through here, but getting close to pushing this piece out. Tons of cool stuff in here. So, yeah, what could be better? All right, take care all, and I will catch you. I should be around. Actually, I'll be out next week. I got to do some travel for work, but I'll be here the week after, and then we'll dive back in and do some more.